Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare.
Touching their hair. Slightly touching your arm when they laugh at something you said. Hey everybody, welcome to AskReddit. People ask Reddit. What screams I have a crush on you?
Number 1.
Girl who is out of my league, you're cute. Her friend, she really likes you. Girl, nods positively to this. Looking back, I think I should have done something about that.
Number 2.
Commenter. In a mixed gender group of friends, and that one girl is happy to talk to every other boy normally but gets quiet/shy when she talks to that one boy in the group. Person B. How to tell if a girl is into a guy. 1. She's shy around him. 2. She's extra flirty with him. Acting differently with one person than everyone else is a good tell. If she's flirty with everyone, then she's not into you unless she gets less flirty. Person C. When girls hate you, they're way more confident around you because they couldn't care less about what you think. Unless you're really friggin' scary, I guess. Person D. I've also noticed in this situation, if the girl gives people food, she will give more to the person she has a crush on. Person E. 1 year, I gave everyone in our friend group, a large mixed group, a Christmas card and put love from my name, just so I could give one to him with love in it, but it was not obvious and stood out. Silly girl. We're married now though, so it worked out in the end.
Number 3.
Commenter. When I was a teenager, there was a guy in my friends group who every girl had a crush on at some point in their life. He was obsessed with the color yellow and wore yellow constantly. You could tell who had developed a crush on him when that person started wearing yellow a lot all of a sudden. That never worked though, he only ever dated one person while we were teenagers. They were together for almost 3 years and she never did the yellow thing. Person B. This reminds me of myself at 13. I started drinking Sprite all of the time because the boy I liked told me it was his favorite. Kept it up even years after we had both moved on. Person C. There was a guy I went to school with. He always wore at least one yellow piece a day. I also had a crush on him and definitely started wearing more yellow around him. His girlfriend of about 3 years didn't live in our town, so I don't know about how much yellow she wore. Got over him as soon as I found out about the GF, and I don't think I've worn yellow since. Person D. I was really into punk rock as a teenager, and my friend's sister all of a sudden started to get really into punk rock out of nowhere. I knew she had a bad crush on me, but it never occurred to me that she was probably mimicking me.
Number 4.
Commenter. When laughing in a group setting, a person will generally try to make eye contact with the person there whose approval they most value. Person B. Learning this fact ruined me. My dad always looks at my mom when he laughs, she almost never looks back at him. Also, once I was standing with the guy I really liked. His girlfriend was on his left and I was on his right. Someone made him laugh and he immediately looked at me, before correcting his girlfriend. I didn't like that happened, but they've since broken up, so I feel less guilty now.
Number 5.
Commenter. Ages ago a guy told me on MSN Messenger that there was a rumor we were dating and we both laughed about it. Years later we're talking and find out we both had a crush on each other. We're too shit scared to talk to each other about it and broke each other's hearts when we started dating other people. I know romance and blah blah, but just spellitout. Person B. Just happened to me over the last couple weeks. I like talking to a coworker but never really thought of it until another one asked me if we were dating. Got me thinking, slightly nudged things in that direction, and now we are. Person C. I had a guy flirting with me in a bar once, and I had absolutely no idea. He was talking with both me and an older couple on the other side of him. Just about work and things going on around the city. Small talk, really. My boyfriend walks in as we're talking, and he sits next to me. The guy's talking to both of us now, and eventually asks how we know each other. I tell him we've been dating for a while. Eventually, the older couple gets food and moves to a table, inviting him over. Boyfriend, maybe fiancé at the time, not sure, swears up and down he was flirting with me, and I laugh it off. I see the guy again at the same bar, and he's telling me the man from the couple kept telling him that he could steal me away since I wasn't married. I was cracking up and said he must have thought you were flirting with me, to which he responded, well, I was trying to until I realized you had a boyfriend. I had absolutely no idea. But he frequented the same bars we did, and we all talked a lot. I'm sure he's found someone, he was a genuinely nice guy. Now my husband works with a girl in her early 20s, and she's crushing on him hard. I don't know how it isn't obvious. Person D. Someone added me on MSN and started telling me people thought we were dating, and I remember I started laughing so hard. I knew who he was when I saw his profile image, but he just talked to me that one time and didn't bother me ever again, which I didn't really mind, cause when he told me, I was like, well, we know both the truth, so let's just ignore it, and ignored it was. I still saw him on the hallways in my middle school, but we didn't acknowledge each other. But till this day, I'd like to know who did it, because I never crossed a word with him in person.
Number 6.
Commenter. If I avoid them as much as possible. Person B. Had a crush on someone for the last 3 years of high school. I avoided her and basically pretended she did not exist sometimes. In the end, I graduated and nothing ever happened. Don't think that because you didn't get that girl/boy, you won't ever get one. There is someone out there that can love you, but relationships are built. Get out there, be happy, be yourself, and don't focus on finding the love of your life, as they will come to you as you'll go to them. There is much more to life, so don't worry. Person C. I took this to the extreme once. I was 13 and met this girl at a summer camp, had the biggest crush on her. Summer camp ended and we all went home, missed her like crazy, forgot to get her number or email. Few months later I was at the coast and holy shit, she's there too. She comes up to me and asks if I'm, my name, what do I do? Act like I've never seen her before or remember her name, of course. She walks off all disappointed. 13-year-old me was a twat. Person D. I had a huge crush on our IT guy at work, so of course I avoided being anywhere near or talking to him for the entire year. We're now married with 2 kids though, so it worked itself out in the end.
Number 7.
Commenter. Constantly smiling at you when you're around. It's important to them to remember details about things in your life. They bring things up in convo. Start conversations first via texting. Touching their hair. Slightly touching your arm when they laugh at something you said. They are engaged when you're speaking with eye contact and don't look away. Mimicking what you do, how you sit, your mannerisms, etc. Their feet pointed towards you. Also good if you want to know if it's time to wrap up a convo in a one-on-one setting. Person B. Can confirm. Had a huge crush on my HS friend. She has a demeanor of putting her right hand behind her when standing still so that her elbow makes a 90-degree angle. I subconsciously copied that exact behavior. Person C. I always used to look at people's feet in conversations and groups. People usually point their forward foot at the person they're paying most attention to and the other foot at the person they're also thinking about. If they tap the foot up that is pointing at you up and down, then they're paying a great deal of attention to you. If you are not the one speaking but they are pointing their forward foot at you, then you are probably a focus of their attention for other reasons. Sometimes, but rarely, they'll point the inside of the foot, below the ankle, at the person they're paying attention to. Sometimes people will point a foot between 2 people, meaning they are paying attention to what they're both saying in a conversation, but again this is less common. Tapping their foot when it's not pointing right at you is a sign of discomfort. They want to get away or don't like the topic of conversation. If they lean towards you, smiling, chin tilted forward, inner wrists displayed, legs crossed with both feet pointing towards you, tapping their upper foot up and down, then you can probably consider yourself crushed on. Person D. Similar to this, they will look at you if they hear something funny. I was told it's because they want to see if you find the same things funny as them subconsciously, or consciously for some people. Also, if you laugh at something, they may have a delayed laugh. It is especially striking during a situation with lots of opportunities to laugh at different moments. Most of the time they will laugh right away with everyone else, but if they don't find it funny enough to laugh but you do, you may see a delayed reaction once it registers in their brain that you're laughing.
Number 8.
Commenter. Laughing at your terrible jokes. Person B. Think it's more obvious when they laugh at your terrible stories. They tend it to be the more drawn-out awkward situations, whereas a bad joke can fit some people's humor naturally and is generally over quickly, could just be being nice to make it less awkward. A terrible story that is drawn out and isn't funny, on the other hand, ain't no one that nice. Person C. When I was a freshman in high school I had a crush on a boy, and I think he was somewhat interested in me too. I was extremely inexperienced when I came to dating, but he was not, but I knew what girls should do and act. I very much remember him telling me a long-winded and terrible joke. I also remember laughing way too hard at the joke. Looking back, I'm 95% sure he was testing me with a bad joke to see if I'd laugh anyway. Person D. Can confirm. The girl I'm talking to right now laughs at all my rather horrible puns that my friends just glare at me for. We're making dinner together and having a GOT marathon at her place next weekend for our 3rd date.
Number 9.
When I always turn to directly face you when you speak. When I'll make excuses to spend more time with you. In high school, when I'd low-key risk punishment for staying out too late for no real reason but to finish a conversation with you. I'm crushing on you hard.
Number 10.
Commenter. Stuttering in front of the person. Person B. Funny story, I have a stutter that gets triggered when I'm really excited. My current so knew I had a crush because they once joined a conversation I was in and I went from talking naturally to stumbling over most of my words because I was so happy they were listening. They think it's cute, so that's a win.
Number 11.
When I was 23, there was this 12 to 13-year-old boy who always sat next to me on the bus on my way to work / his way to school. I didn't mind chatting to him, because he was a nice kid, but I did suspect he had a bit of a crush on me because why else would he choose to sit and talk to an adult woman instead of sitting with his kids his own age? He always carried a tuba case with him, so it was slightly awkward for him to sit next to me. I have to admit there was something a bit flattering about a kid asking me all these questions about my life and looking up to me like I was the most interesting person in the world. One day my boyfriend was riding with me to the city. We were holding hands and laughing, quite obviously together. The kid got on, lugging his tuba case, and he saw the two of us and stopped dead in his tracks. He looked so crushed, and he never sat next to me or talked to me again. The look on his face, it really made me feel awful for him. I guess he had to get let down the hard way. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.